So what are we doing here? This place clearly isn't set up yet. No one's here. Well, we're here because Mazda invited us here a little bit early to get a sneak preview of some of the stuff they want to talk about with some of their cars. Now, normally that doesn't sound super interesting when it pertains to interiors and NVH, but this is a big deal for Mazda. They've trotted out some of their classic machines. They're bringing out the lights, the sound speakers. There'll be food and hopefully some alcohol later on to take all this in. But for now, we're gonna dive in and learn why we've trekked out here and why we got in early to get a sneak peek at what's going on with Mazda. So first off, I want to start talking about the Mazda 6. So you look at it, it looks like a Mazda 6. It's the current generation, the one we've all come to know and love. What's happening here though has happened on the inside. So let's take a look at what's going on. Oh, it's locked, so we can't. So we found the keys. We said this is an event that's being set up and there's a pile of keys somewhere, but we're in here early. We're not supposed to be sitting in this car yet. And it's inside the car that's important, like I said. What you're looking at is a Mazda 6 that has Nappa leather seats. There's heated rear seats now. There's this great leather trim there. There's the upgraded heads-up display. But more importantly, under the skin, there's even more going on. Apparently, they've added more sound deadening. They've increased the levels, the NVH levels in here to a greater degree, so it's going to be a quieter ride for everybody involved. The reason that's important is because it shows that Mazda is trying to take some of its models a little bit more upscale, and that was first evident with the CX-9 Signature. Interestingly enough, this isn't upgraded enough for Mazda to consider this a signature trim. This is like a Grand Touring Plus, so to speak. And you know what that means? The door is open for a trim above this. Remember the 929? I mean, that was never really a luxury Mazda, but it was the closest thing we got. Now, we're near premium, which is a great step forward for this brand and this car. You could get something in this segment like a Ford Fusion, or you could step up and get a little bit nicer alternative interior in the Mazda 6. Plus, it's more fun to drive. Another thing this car is getting is Mazda's new G-vectoring control. What that does is it lessens the amount of input needed to keep the car moving in its intended path. This reduces fatigue, it reduces driver stress, but they're doing it without reducing any of the things that make a Mazda, and that's great handling and enjoyability behind the wheel. We've come a long way from an interior like this, even though I think these seats are still pretty bitchin'. Moving on to the other star of the party here is one of my favorites in the Mazda lineup. This is the Mazda3 hatch, and it's got a revised front and rear fascia, but it's still clearly the Mazda3 hatch we now know. It has new optional wheels too. Here's the thing though, when you buy these cars, typically if you want the highest trim, all the packages, you get stuck with an automatic, and that kind of saps the fun of any Mazda vehicle. It's not a bad automatic, but manuals are always better. We all know this. This one's fully loaded, and there's a stick right there. So in here, Mazda 3, these seats are nice, everything's familiar, but what isn't familiar is to have all the options, including a heads-up display, which is now here on this car, and to have the stick. This is fantastic. It shows that Mazda is staying true to their Driving Matters tagline, because driving matters when you have a manual gearbox and you have a hatchback, which there are less of those out there. So you also get the G-vectoring control here. You also get the increased NVH through the use of improved sound deadening. So what that means is you're getting a better driving experience for those who love driving, but you're also getting a greater experience in terms of comfort and enjoyability for all of your passengers as well. See, I told you they brought a 929 here. There's also a really sweet Cosmo over there. It's proof that Mazda cares about their heritage, but they also care about their future. That's what we've come here to explore.